Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. This is the FH5 Update 32, the Horizon Race-Off update. And spoiler alert, it's sick. We have 10 new cars in this update, and none of them are copy-pasted. We have 18 new EventLab props. We have some world updates and much more. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. Honestly, this is probably one of the best updates we've had in a couple of months. So buckle in. Let's jump into everything you need to know. Let's not waste any time, though. Let's jump immediately into the festival playlist and this thing. The 2023 McLaren Artura. It would be great if car manufacturers stopped choosing their name from leftover Scrabble tiles that they found behind their sofa. It's the McLaren Artura. I think I got it. Anyways, you can unlock this thing by getting 20 points during week 1 of the festival playlist. Essentially, the Artura is the new version of the McLaren 570S, and the technology that's gone into this thing is mind-blowing. The Artura only has a 3-liter V6 engine, but the car puts out nearly 700 horsepower. I'm gonna get a little nerdy, but trust me, it's worth it. The engine that McLaren built for this car is one of a kind. There's never been, at least I don't think there's ever been another engine like this. Most V6 engines, most V8 engines are like 60 degrees or 90 degrees. So like the V's kind of like that or like that. McLaren, for this thing, built a 120-degree V6, so it's like massively wide like that. And McLaren did that because they moved the turbos from, I guess they were behind the engine before, underneath the engine, and moved them to inside of the V to make the engine super compact. It's got batteries and electric motors on board to boost the power by nearly 100 horsepower. And it also doesn't have a reverse gear. If you shift into reverse, the engine shuts down and it just uses the electric motors to back up, which is really cool, actually. Anyways, the McLaren Artura is a super cool car, and I seriously cannot wait to unlock this thing. It's coming out on Thursday, so as per usual, subscribe if you want to see me unlock it, check out all of the customization, and see if it's any good in FH5. Car number 2 is this thing, the 2022 Audi TT RS. Again, you can unlock this thing by getting 20 points during week 2. And this is a bit of a sad one because yes, this is the final Audi TT. It's still got that super cool 2.5-liter 5-cylinder engine. It's still illegal in Canada, and it still puts out an incredible engine note. The last time we got an Audi TT in FH5, the bumper was glitched in. You could actually drive around with no bumper in FH5. So I'm going to cross fingers and hope the developers mess that up again because it was really cool. On a serious note, I wonder if we're going to get any ABT parts for the Audi TT RS. Maybe. Moving on to car number 3, this is the 2003 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra. You can unlock this thing during week number 3, 20 points. Similarly to the Audi TT RS, this was actually the final Ford Mustang SVT that Ford ever built. After this, Ford started working properly with Shelby, so a lot of the cars became Shelby GT500s after this. And Ford also switched over to Ford Performance. So this is the last SVT Mustang. Anyways, it's got 400 horsepower out of a big V8 engine. It is called the Terminator. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm a big fan of the early 2000s Mustang, and this one might be one of the best ones. Can't wait to unlock it and see what upgrades it had. And last but not least, car number 4 in the festival playlist is this thing, the 2020 Jaguar F-Type SVR. You can unlock this during week 4, 20 points. Honestly, I can't believe it took this long for the developers to add this car to the game. It is a monster. They are incredible cars. They've got a 5-liter V8 that puts out like 550 horsepower. It's British horsepower, so you never know. They have optional carbon ceramic brakes. I would assume the one in the game does. And more importantly than any of that, it's got one of the greatest engine notes ever. Honestly, you know, as soon as this thing comes out, I am taking it to the tunnel and we are doing a sound test with this thing. I really hope the developers did it well. We will have to see, though. So those are the 4 cars coming to the festival playlist this month, but there are 2 cars that you can unlock by utilizing a new feature in FH5. But real quick, before we jump into that, I wanted to let you know that the other day over on the AR12 store, we recently dropped some new stickers. There's an awesome AR12 Turbo, the super cool AR12 Retro Sunset, and of course, Papa Fernando. If you'd like to check out any of these stickers, they all have free shipping on the AR12 store. There's a link down below. So there's a new feature in FH5 called the Horizon Race-Off, where there are two teams that are going to be going head-to-head on-road and off-road. Throughout the entire month, there will be outposts popping up for this new feature, and at these outposts, you'll be able to see a leaderboard of how well each team is doing. You can contribute to either team's score. If you want to contribute to the road racing team, you can go in and do drag races, midnight battles, and road races. If you want to contribute to the off-road team, you can do dirt races and cross-country races. As a community, everybody's race totals is going to be getting added up together. And after the community has surpassed a certain goal set out by the developers, we will unlock 2 cars. When we pass the on-road racing goal, we'll unlock this thing, the 2024 Ford Mustang GT. Yes, it is here. This is the brand new generation of Ford Mustang, the S650. Unfortunately, it's not the Ford Mustang Dark Horse like I know a lot of people would have liked, but it's still a big, powerful, brand new Ford Mustang. I am going to cross fingers that the developers actually have some cool customization for it, because obviously these new Mustangs are being used in like Formula Drift. They're being used in a little racing series around the world, and I really hope we can make these things look really spicy in FH5. That's not all though, because if we go back to the leaderboard, once we surpass the off-road goal, all players are going to be gifted the 2023 Ford Raptor R. Honestly, the Ford Raptor R is probably one of my favorite vehicles that has come out in the past couple of years. It's a 700 horsepower V8 supercharged Ford F-150 from the factory, and it does jump. What more do you want in a car? I mean, yes, they are totally outrageous and totally over the top, which is why I'm just going to stick with my regular Ford Raptor in real life. And for the fact that I think it would bankrupt me with the amount of fuel one uses. Those 6 cars, though, are the 6 cars that everybody can unlock. As the theme seems to be for FH5, there is also a paid DLC pack. Honestly, since the developers keep putting these car packs into updates every single month at the moment, they must be selling really, really well. Even though the comments will tell you they hate them, people are probably still buying them. I don't actually know just yet if the developers are going to give me any codes for it to give away to any of you guys, but if there are, I'll have some up on the Discord server in maybe a couple of days or so. Anyways, let's jump into these 4 cars, and let's start it off with arguably the worst car in this car pack, the 2021 McLaren Sabre. Yeah, it's crazy when the Sabre's the worst car in a car pack. This is essentially a McLaren Senna with some fancy bodywork to give it a little bit extra downforce. I think it has a little bit of extra horsepower. Long story short, though, they are super, super rare. Only 16 of these things were ever made for the entire world. I think in real life, if you want to buy one, they cost like $3 to $4 million, which is just outrageous, and it's a ridiculous car. Anyways, let's move it on to my second favorite car, probably in this month's update. This is the 2019 Ginetta G10 RM. I seriously love what Ginetta is doing, not just for like the car industry, but for the motorsport fans and the motorsport industry. It's so cool. Ginetta's whole goal is to basically get people into real life racing. You can buy super affordable Ginettas and join Ginetta Cup racing with it. And Ginetta goes all the way up to LMP racing with some of their new stuff, which is just, it's so cool. I love Ginetta. Anyways, the Ginetta G10 is one of Ginetta's kind of mid-range cars. It's kind of hard to have a range when you've got entry-level cars and LMP cars on the same scale, but anyways, the Ginetta G10 has a V8 with about 500 horsepower. Thinking about it, I wonder how fast this thing is going to be, because it is such a small, lightweight car. I mean, the only heavy part about it is that big engine, but maybe with the right upgrades, it could be competitive in FH5. We'll have to see. Car number 3 in this new DLC pack is this. Yes, one of the most requested cars, the 1967 Shelby GT500. Finally, this is from back in the day when Carroll Shelby was working directly with Ford. If you've ever seen Ford versus Ferrari and like the whole Carroll Shelby's kind of workshop, all the cars they're working on in the background, for the most part, are things like this. Honestly, I know some people are going to say, but we already have 65 variants of a Ford Mustang. And honestly, I'm okay with that. And last but not least, yes, I put this car in the thumbnail. My favorite car in this month's update. This is the 2022 Ford Supervan 4. This is one of the fastest cars in the world right now. It is shattering records all around the world. The newer version, the Ford Supervan 4.2, actually just broke a record out in Australia at Bathurst. It previously broke a record at Pikes Peak, setting like an unlimited record time or something like that. It's outrageous. It has 2,000 horsepower from all-electric engine. I would not be surprised if the Ford Supervan 4 is one of, if not the fastest drag car in Forza Horizon 5. We don't know just yet. We'll have to see. The old Ford Supervan 3 was incredibly quick in FH5, so I have high hopes for an even more powerful version. So those are all 10 cars coming to Forza Horizon 5 in this month's update. But that's not all. We also have some big updates coming to the EventLab where we have 18 new props coming to the game. I'm just gonna read off my list. There are 8 new signs and flags. There's like all of these cool banners. There's 6 new festival props, 2 new styles of like walls and fences, and 2 new gameplay props. That's not all though. Last but not least, the developers gave us a small sneak peek of what's coming next month. And next month's update is called the Apex All-Star. Honestly, to me, that sounds like more race cars that could possibly be coming to FH5, but we'll have to see. Thank you so much for watching. That is the FH5 Update 32. What a mind-blowing update. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Which one of these cars is your favorite?